So, you are the one who's afraid of giving messy answers in online assessment and getting rejected? Well, you are on the right channel because, baby, I have been there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clear Talk with Kavi. And in this video, I will be sharing my answers of online assessment. In my previous video, I shared my questions, and many of you have appreciated my previous video and also requested to make a video on answers as well. In this video, I will be sharing some of the important questions that are complicated because I don't want to keep this video longer than enough. I want it to get finished within 5 minutes. I will start with the most complicated question in my assessment. The question is, how do you manage your monthly budget? This question was displayed on my screen when I was giving my assessment. This was maybe 8th or 7th question. So, my answer to the question, how do you manage your monthly budget, was I focus on not buying anything randomly. I always try to buy things that are important to me. It allows me to spend my money wisely. Secondly, I also take advice from my sister as I'm not a working professional. So, whenever I want to manage my budget monthly, I always go to her for advice as she's working, she's into designing, and she takes orders from people nearby. So she has the knowledge of budget management. And this was my answer, to be honest. My answer's opening lines were extremely formal and they were also on the right track. But the moment I talked about my sister, I realized I'm messing up with my answer. You are not supposed to mention about somebody else when they are asking you about your monthly budget and how do you manage it, because as a cabin crew member we are responsible for earning our own money and we are responsible for managing it wisely. So I think that was my biggest mistake in my online assessment. So if they ask you this question, try to answer in a very professional, yet again decent way. Do not try to make anyone else responsible for your budget management like I did. Another question is, how do you ensure that the news you are consuming is fact based news? Now, what is fact based news? News that is true, that is not false, that is not fake, it should be true. So the question was, how do you ensure that the news you're consuming is fact based? In this answer, I think it was my bestest answer in my all 10 answers of my online assessment. I was actually very confident when I answered this question. Although you have to keep in mind, everyone, that when you give your online assessment, you have to answer on the spot. So you don't have much time to think about it. You will be given only 10 seconds before the video starts. So now my answer to this question was, again, you're not allowed to copy my answer. You can make your own version of it. You can just use my answer as an example. So my answer was, whenever consuming news, I always try to consume news from reliable platforms like First Post, Hindustan Times, and India News. If that's a news channel, I don't know, but I said India News. Then I also try to avoid consuming news from social media apps because social media has become the prominent cause of fake news nowadays. That's why I always rely on credible resources. Another question was, talk about a time when you helped your team members. So in my previous video, I earlier mentioned that I have work experience of 6 months as a sales expert. So I was able to work with a team, and then I had a story to tell. So in this answer, I said that in my previous job as a sales expert, I was responsible for working with a team. So there was a time when once my one of the team members faced a language barrier with customer, as the customer preferred speaking in English. However, my team member was unable to communicate in English language. Well, rather than wasting any time, I stepped in and helped my team member. I took over the call and communicated with the customer. I asked them questions and resolved their queries. This incident helped me support my team members and also deliver excellent customer service. So this was my answer to this question, and to be honest, it was the same answer in my assessment as well because I have already prepared this question. as I have work experience, so I think it is very basic that you prepare questions related to teamwork, related to leadership, related to professionalism. Now I will tell you another question, which is talk about your favorite singer or actor. And in this question, to be honest, I only mentioned about my favorite singer because there is option or. Talk about your favorite singer or actor. Although my favorite actor is Kriti Sanon and Tiger Shroff, and they are my favorite since 2014 when Hero Panti released. But in that moment, as the pressure was very high, I forgot my favorite actors and I just started speaking on my favorite singer. So I spoke about Taylor Swift and I said that my favorite singer is Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift a lot and her music as well because her storytelling technique is really intriguing. The way she tells stories in every one of her songs is really interesting to me. And as I am interested in writing poetry, listening to Taylor Swift songs help me find inspiration for my poetry as well. So that's why I consider her my favorite singer. And guys, as I already mentioned that the time limit is 1 minute and 20 seconds and you are supposed to speak for 1 minute and 10 seconds. So you can imagine everybody that how much I messed up each and every answer because I cannot speak above 40 seconds. That's not the way I communicate. I always try to keep my answers concise and crisp, short as possible. But in assessment I was rambling. I was speaking the same lines again and again because if you put a camera in front of you and you try to speak for 1 minute and 10 seconds, you will realize how difficult it is to keep speaking for 1 minute and 10 seconds. So you can get an idea of how much I have messed up already in my assessment. So, guys, these were the answers of my questions of my online assessment with Indigo Airlines. I could not share all the answers because the video is getting too long. So, if you want to know other answers as well, then please check out my second video that I will post on the same topic. It will be part 2. So, if you want to know all the answers, please watch the part 2. If you want to know all the answers, you can watch next video, and if you only wanted to know these answers, then it's your video and you can enjoy, and you can also ask me questions if you have any doubts. And if you want to know how I improved my communication skills, how I improved my fluency, then please comment below and I will be sharing all the tips and tricks. Thank you so much for watching my video.